Trevor, just to introduce you again, this is Molly and Courtney. And then I know that you obviously have a good extensive history with running, starting all the way back, I'm guessing, when you were pretty young, and then going to Ashland and university, and now continuing on with your professional career. So if you just wanted to get started about just who you are, where you're from, and kind of how you started getting into running.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Trevor Bassitt. I grew up in Bluffton, Ohio. I started doing track and field when I was in middle school, and I started doing it because my older siblings did it. It was a sport. I wanted to stay in shape for basketball, so I started doing it then. Once I got to high school, I ended up being pretty good at it and won 2 state championships. Ended up choosing Ashland University because of the coaching staff there, the culture they had, and not a lot of D1 schools wanted me, so that kind of helped. Went to Ashland, won 10 national championships, got 21 All-Americans, broke 2 D2 records, and then turned professional. Have made the last 3 USA teams, brought home 4 World Championship medals, and am now training professionally down at the University of Florida. Yeah, I feel like that kind of Spark Notes sums it up a little bit.
Definitely. Gosh, that is so awesome. Um, when did you kind of make that decision to like go professional? I guess how did that opportunity kind of come about when you were in Ashland going into now training professionally?
Yeah, so I mean, I always knew if I could be a professional athlete, I would want to, right? Because I feel like that's how every athlete thinks. I didn't, it didn't click for me until probably the summer going into my junior year. I ran at the US Championships and I made the US semifinal in the 400 hurdles. I think I finished placing either 13th or 12th. And in my head, I was like, I just had a full collegiate season, took 2 weeks off because we didn't think I was going to make it to the meet. And I just got 13th in the United States during a world championship year. Like, I think I could probably do this. So I kind of started to big picture look towards that. And then it just kind of transpired where each year we got better. COVID hit, and it kind of bought me a year because I was able to get an extended collegiate career, so I could really like get more experience, get stronger, all that stuff. And yeah, it just kind of naturally happened.
Gosh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
So now that you've like been into it, is there anything that you said like that you could say that has changed from your training from being in collegiate to professional?
Yeah, now it's very much very big picture. Like college, we have conference championships, NCAAs, big invite, stuff like that. So you might peak a couple more times throughout the collegiate season, or you're going to run a lot more races. The professional season is not like that. Everything we do, at least in my group, everything we do is geared towards making the US team and being ready for the World Championships or the Olympics. Whereas college, it's be ready for conference, be ready for NCAAs. I really only have to be ready and at my best for 2 meets a year, which is different because it's a whole different mindset going to meets. It's a whole different mindset training wise. But I like it. It helps keep my body fresher throughout the season and kind of helps keep my mind fresher. So there's not as much fatigue and emotional draining from competing all the time.
Definitely.
So what does your training regimen look like on a weekly basis as a professional when you're in season and when you're out?
Okay, so in season, we'll do out of season because I'm in it right now. We're like kind of in our preseason. So right now we're in the weight room 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, just kind of building that base, getting that cardiovascular endurance in, working on our overall engine essentially. And then once we're in season, it'll be weight room 2 to 3 times a week, and we're on the track 5 days with weekends off. One of those days is like a recovery day. So in the past, it would be like jog 400, 4x100 barefoot strides in grass, or it could be like just do 10 minutes on the elliptical, or if you're feeling really rambunctious, it could be like go jog for 2 miles. I always chose the jog 400 barefoot stuff because I like being barefoot in grass. This year, we're probably going to lean more towards the elliptical because it's the Olympic year. It's going to be a really long season. We want to preserve our limbs as long as we can.
Definitely. Speak to that, I guess, a little bit more, just the being in grass and kind of your philosophy behind that, barefoot in the grass. Give us a little bit more insight on that and why you like it so much.
Yeah, so I've always liked the barefoot grass. A lot of people call it grounding. I've always liked it, but Coach Holloway down here, he loves it to the point where, like, after this weight room block that we're in, so we're like 5 to 7 weeks just in the weight room, we're going to be doing grass workouts. So granted, we'll be in shoes,
Yeah.
but all the running we're going to do is in grass because it's less on your joints. It's not as bad, and you just kind of work harder because it's grass. It's not a track surface you can spring right off of. And then I've always liked being barefoot in the grass because I think there's a natural element and recovery to kind of getting in touch with nature. I know there's actual science behind it. I don't know the fancy terminology or everything. I remember seeing something about like it helps the electrons or something like that. But all I know is something along those lines. But I just know being barefoot in grass for like 10 to 15 minutes, it helps you switch from your parasympathetic to your sympathetic nervous system, and it just kind of helps you start that recovery process and helps your body recover faster, which is the name of the game.
Oh, definitely. Amen. I love that so much. And even just giving you more ankle stability, if anything, because of the roots and turns. So yeah.
Exactly.
That's so good. Love that. So you said you do a lot of that kind of in season and out of season, correct? Was that more in season?
So we do a lot of grass stuff with shoes on in preseason.
Yep.
In season, we'll do a lot of barefoot grass stuff at
Good.
the end. So like finish a workout, pop the shoes off. When we're in season, take your shoes off once you're done. Jog a lap in the grass, and then do 2 like 50-meter strides barefoot in the grass.
Perfect. Okay. So to get more into that then, just like through a whole entire session, I know it varies day to day of like what type of training that you're doing, whether it's tempo runs or speed or long distance, things like that. But and I know that's different for the long distance runner versus the sprinter as well. But just to take me through kind of what, like how you start a day of training, what that training may look like inside that, and then how you cool down maybe with that barefoot. But how does the warm up start in a day of training?
Okay. So I'll take you through a Tuesday.
There you go.
Tuesdays are pretty consistent. I call it speed endurance. Coach Holloway might call it something different. So the workout, let's say it's 450, 350, 300. Our warm up, we jog a lap on the track, go to the grass, hit 4 50-meter easy strides. We have a stretch routine we do where we do like 10 scoops.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do 10 scoops. You'll do 10, what are they called? 10 scorpions, where you lay on your chest, you bring your foot to your hand, and you'll do the laying on your back version of it. I don't know what it's called.
Either.
Where you like kind of like cross like that.
Yes.
Do 10 of those. Then we do like a little glute series where you do 10 fire hydrants, 10 kickbacks, 10 donkey kicks, and I throw in 10 straight leg donkeys because I like them. Then you'll go back to the grass, do 50 meters of ballerinas each way, that little like sideways skip. And then you'll do 2 more faster accels. When you're done with that, you go over to the fence or grab a hurdle. You do 10 leg swings facing the hurdle and then 10 to the side. Then you get like 15, 20 minutes to do whatever else you need to do. So I'll go through, I will stretch. I'll do a little like stretch series of stretch my hamstring straight up, do some kicks, stretch to the side, stretch to the groin, piriformis stretch, quad stretch. Once I do that, then I get out the foam roller and I foam roll all those spots I hit, and I get each strip of my lower back. Then we do about 2 sets of 20 meters of A skips and high knees. Then after that, we put spikes on. We do 2 to 3 30-meter 3-point starts. Then once we're done with that, spikes are off, you're back in your flats, and the workout starts. So it'd be like a 450 timing. You'll do a 450, come through at say like 51 seconds. No, you have to be 51 seconds at 400. So the last 50 isn't timed. I mean, it is, but it's not time for us. Like, he doesn't tell us what we ran on the rep.
Gotcha.
But for 400, you do that. Let's say he's feeling rambunctious and wants to make us really work. It'll be circuit drill rest, which means you get 3 minutes rest of like kind of getting your breath, getting water. Then you're in the grass, you're doing circuit drills. So it could be high knees, bounds, shuffles, skips. And you just do that until the other 9 minutes are up. And then you're back. You do the 350, come through 300 at like 38. Same thing, circuit rest. Then you do the 300, come through at 37. Then you're done. So I normally will try to walk a little bit. I try really hard to not lay down because I know it's bad. Sometimes if the heat is really hitting me, I'll lay down, I'll be honest. But then to cool down, I'll jog the lap barefoot in the grass. I'll do the 2 strides. And if we don't have a lift or anything after, I'll spray water in my mouth and set a timer for 15 minutes and do 15 minutes of that barefoot grounding in the grass with just nose breathing. Because that's another way. And it's a Tuesday. Wednesdays typically are recovery day. So if I can start that recovery process as fast as possible and get as recovered as I can possibly be for Thursday, which is it's a race model day, hurdle day, like we're getting after it that day. So if I can start that recovery as soon as possible after that workout Tuesday, it's just going to set me up better for the rest of the week.
Wow, that is awesome. I love that so much. So many things about that I love. Speaking first to just the warm up and how seriously you guys take that. I know your body is your job, obviously, but the way that you take that warm up so seriously and hearing a lot of it being a dynamic warm up model and not the active stretching that you've heard, obviously. I mean, there's a bunch of research behind dynamic stretches rather than static.
You gotta take the warm up serious. Like they say, the body's like day-old rice. If you don't warm it up right, something really bad's gonna happen.
I love that. Yes. That's so good. Let's see. Any questions that you have off of that?
To go off of like she said, to prevent injuries with the dynamic warm up.
Yeah.
What have you done in the past if you've had an injury? What was your process? Do you go to the doctor or trainer?
So I laugh because I've had a lot of injuries. I've had multiple hamstring pulls, a broken bone in my foot. I've had tendonitis in both ankles. A lot of it's just going to be doing preventative stuff. So like when I was at Ashland, the second we started training in the fall, I was going to the trainers doing hamstring prehab stuff, ankle prehab stuff with them, even though I was totally fine. I mean, the best time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining, right? So that's kind of how I approach that. Now things are a bit different because I've been able to get resources through Team USA, through the USOPC, and then just spending money out of my own pocket because, like Courtney said, our body's our job. We got to take care of it. So like now I get acupuncture done once every 2 weeks. In between those 2 weeks, I get a massage once a week. And then we'll have a USATF physio come to the track once a week or once every couple weeks. So on any given week, I'm either getting acupuncture and a massage in the week, or I'm getting 2 massages in that week. And I see a chiropractor. I think I have a chiropractor appointment Wednesday or Thursday this week. So, because that's just another thing, like, and yes, it does get costly because it adds up, but those costs adding up is a lot cheaper than the money I lose if I can't compete for like 2 months because of an injury. So a lot of it's just doing preventative stuff, like being at home, like rolling out when I'm at home, hopping in Normatec boots, doing some extra stretching, making sure I sleep. The number one thing I do to prevent injury is sleep. I could talk for hours about sleep and how important it is, but that's the main thing. Just kind of being preemptive on it, being proactive, not reactive.
Definitely. I completely agree with all that. Yeah. How many hours of sleep are you aiming at for a night?
Of like actually being asleep, I shoot for at least 7.5. I normally get anywhere from 7.5 to 8.5, which means I'm in bed. I'm in bed for about 9.5, 10 hours.
Yep, definitely. How are you tracking it? Do you have a Garmin? What you got?
I use Whoop.
Whoop,
No
okay.
freaky shout outs. Whoop.
Awesome. And then to play off of that, just your nutrition, going into the way that you eat as well to make sure that you perform at your best. Just give us a rundown of what you're gaining or trying to get there.
Yeah, all I really do nutrition wise is really make sure I hydrate because obviously I live in Florida. It's really hot. You can't be dehydrated. And then just make sure I eat enough calories first of all, because if you're operating at a calorie deficit, you're just going to be asking to get hurt. And then making sure I get protein and carbs in every meal. Carbs are energy. Protein's going to help you rebuild what you just tore down. Those are the main thing. I try to get some fruit each day. I'm not a big vegetables guy. I'm working on it, but
I love that. Have you learned a lot of that in like the nutrition aspect from like just your own research, or do you have like somebody that you've worked with in the past, or?
a lot of it's been my own research or just people that I've met along the way, whether it be people at Ashland or other athletes I've talked to, or like the sports nutritionist for Team USA. I've talked to all these people, gotten insight from all of them. So it's just been a mixing and matching of what I've learned from people that are a lot smarter than me.
Yeah, definitely. We had a guest lecturer come in and talk to us just last week about how vital our nutrition is for our energy expenditure, especially when you are not only a college athlete here at OU D1, but also obviously for yourself being a professional and training day in and out. So just wanted to get a little bit insight into that as well. Okay, so back to, I guess, have you had any injuries here recently? Like of anything in the past?
I strained my hamstring, I want to say early June. Either late May or early June. I had just gotten back from a trip to Oslo for a competition, and I did not do a good job hydrating on the way back. And I mean, Norway's a long flight.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I did a good job hydrating on like Sunday and then a little bit Monday before practice. And practice was fine because I didn't feel anything in the moment. But after practice and like lifting, I was like, I can barely bend over. Like my hamstring's really tight. And then it just ended up just being a strain to where I started like doubling up on acupuncture appointments, massage, getting everything I could. I got 6 injections in my hamstring the week before the U.S. Championships because I wasn't able to hurdle. And I was like, we just got to do like, so my acupuncturist is injecting anti-inflammatories into my hamstrings, trying to get it to where we can get over hurdles and get through the rounds. Because I have to run you have to run 400 hurdle races in 3 days. So it worked out. We made the team.
Oh gosh.
Yes, I have dealt with an injury recently.
Yeah.
But after that, we were great. We were great after that. We were great before, great after. Sometimes you got to learn a lesson the hard way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I see you hydrating right now. That's good.
Post lift, trying to make sure I'm not too sore tomorrow, but it's day 1, so I definitely will be.
Oh yeah, exactly. Always is that way. Gosh, that is so awesome. Just the experiences that you've had of being out on such big experiences or big environments of like being on Team USA, just to speak to that and how great of an opportunity that's been for you. Like just so cool.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. It's a dream. Obviously, I mean, every track and field athlete dreams of representing Team USA. And I've been thankful to do it now 3 times. Hopefully after 2024, it'll be 5 between indoor worlds and the Olympics. It's always, anytime you can represent your country on a global stage, it's an honor. I mean, the crowd in Budapest was incredible. The athletes everywhere are incredible. And then, yeah, there's just something about wearing the USA across your chest. It hits different.
Oh, definitely. So stinking cool. I love following along on Instagram and seeing all of it. So stinking awesome.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into, so We're talking a lot about the cross training. So obviously I heard you speak to a bit of in season. You are doing some of that strength training and you're running at the same time. Do you guys do any other cross trainings of like swimming or getting in the pool or anything like that?
Yeah. During this, not this time, but when we start doing grass workouts in like mid-November, I'll probably end up getting in the pool once a week or once every 2 weeks. And I don't like it. I'm not a great swimmer, so it's not fun. But yeah, go to the University of Florida pool, be running like doing 25s and 50s with time to rest and all that. I just learned this past year how to use my legs while swimming because I was doing all upper body. So honestly, it probably wasn't helping my legs recover at all because I was just moving my arms. But yeah, so we'll do that. And then like I mentioned earlier, with potentially doing a lot more elliptical work this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only cross training I've done since I've been down here is the pool. And then the elliptical probably this year at some point.
Awesome. Great. Okay, so then right now you're in the off season. You're just starting back up with your strength training. So give us an insight on that, on what you're doing. I saw on Instagram, are you getting into Squat-tober?
I did Squat-tober because I got 4 weeks completely off and I'm not good at sitting still.
Yes.
And I like lifting. Like lifting is fun to me. So I talked to my coach and my strength coach like, hey, would it be totally bad for me if I just did day one of Squat-tober just for something to do? They're like, yeah, no, it's fine. Go ahead. So I did it. It was fun. I was ridiculously sore for like a week because I mean, when you're competing, the lifting we're doing is just trying to maintain and then you taper. I hadn't done like a normal depth squat in like 3 or 4 months at that point. So then I'm doing whatever that day was. I think it was 3x5 and 3x3. I'm doing 24 squats to depth when I hadn't done any in the past half year. So that was fun. Today we had, let's see, I have it on my phone because I like to write stuff down.
Amen. Me too.
Had today. So we do a trigger point series of like foam rolling lacrosse ball. We do trigger point, glute activation, some prehab stuff, and then we hit 3 sets of 10 heel taps of like when you're standing on a box, you like knee over toe down, tap your heel, come up. 6x6 trap bar deadlift, 5x4 step downs, 3x3 Nordic hamstrings, 2 sets of 10 single leg calf raises, 6 sets of 4 single leg RDL, 2 sets of Roman sit-ups, and then 45-degree back extensions, and then stretch after. So my lower body is going to be shot tomorrow.
Yes, it will be. It will be. But I do love just pulling out some of those exercises, a lot of that single leg. That's for sure, I think, so vital for you guys I mean, your single leg activity running is a single leg activity. So super good that you guys.
Yeah, 100%. You got to be able to master the single leg before you can do both.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So a lot of those, they're obviously structured by a strength coach for you guys, or how do you guys get?
Yeah, so the strength coach at UF that works with like the pros and works with the track team is Matt Delancey.
Okay. Awesome. So did you guys kind of, as professionals, come to him asking if he will give you something as well, or how's that dynamic work, I guess, just because?
So this is the first block I've worked with him because like I just joined the group last year, and last year I worked with a guy named Derek Woodski. I'm still possibly going to work with him this year. Right now, my coach really wanted me to do this like general prep strength block with their coach, the Florida coach. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this 5 to 7 week block with him. And then my plan as of right now is to go back then to Derek and go back to working with him. Because like I've sent him all the stuff, so he knows what I'm doing. And Derek, I reached out to him. He trained, Judd Logan trained him. So that's how I got connected to him. He wrote me a lifting block during COVID because we had that super extended off season. So I'm like, I had Judd ask for me to do a favor. I was like, write me like a 20-week lifting block that's going to turn me into a monster. And he did exactly that. And so I worked with him a lot. I worked with him exclusively last year, and it was great. We were in constant communication because he lives in Montana. So I'd send him the weights I did. If it was like a squat or Olympic lift, I'd send him video, be like, here's my last set. What do we think? And then we just kind of talk and go from there.
Good. That's awesome. Any questions you have that with the revolving around working out?
Not really. It all sounds pretty cool.
I know,
I wish I
seriously,
had
sounds
a
like a
coach
dream.
to do
Oh,
that.
that's so good. Let's see. I guess I'm just a little curious about how you've gone about. So I know Judd was your coach for so long. And now how have you transitioned into a new coach, and how that works kind of in the professional level of how you gain a coach afterwards?
Yeah, so Judd was our head coach at Ashland. He was the throws coach, so he didn't directly coach me. He was more so for me like a mentor and kind of like a guide towards becoming a professional athlete because he was a 4-time Olympian. Whereas my coach at Ashland was Coach Clark. He left during my 5th year to go to San Jose State, and I would have loved to go with him, but the average cost of a home in San Jose is $1 million, and I to this day don't have $1 million, so not doing that. So what it came down to was me doing my own research, talking to other athletes, and trying to find a coach whose training philosophy matched that I felt good about. Because Coach Clark did a great job educating me on his system, what's worked for me. And I wrote my own workouts going into USA in 2022 because the coaching situation, we had a lot of coaches in and out. So I wrote my own programming and it went really well. So, but I knew I couldn't do that long term, right? Because at that point we're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Like we made it work for the time, not going to be good long term. So I knew what worked for me. I knew I was very much a speed power based athlete. So I wanted to find a coach that also coached with a speed power base, because there's a lot of coaches that do strength based where they're going to be doing like over distance, 600s, 800, stuff like that. I don't respond well to that. I'm much better in the 150 to 300 or 400 range. And Coach Holloway's been exactly that. He does have a little bit of longer stuff. So I've ran, we'll do 450s pretty often. We'll do 500s every now and then, but I'm okay with mixing it in. I just didn't want that to be primarily my thing. So talked with him on the phone, talked with other coaches on the phone, went and visited other coaches in their training groups. And it's really just kind of finding out which training situation was best for me. And that's how we ended up in Gainesville, Florida, the swamp.
There you go. I love it.
Living here for a summer is a perfect name.
Definitely. Yeah, I guess I didn't even think of like how much that goes into of knowing your own style of how you respond best. And then trying to find something that matches that obviously had to take in a lot of networking and deep delving into that. But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. We had big questions about running wise.
You do more sprinting. Have you ever considered doing a half marathon or a marathon? Courtney just ran a half yesterday.
Whoa!
I ran my first half. The nationwide children's half marathon. So, woohoo!
How'd it go?
Compared to you, but it was good. I beat my my goal pace of getting under 2 hours. So ran in an hour 51. Yeah, it felt good. Felt great to like be back in the competitive experience, even though I was running against like a lot of these middle-aged people, but I felt motivated and like I was in a competition, so I loved it.
That's awesome. You're stronger than me because after one lap, I'm useless. So all respect to you.
Oh yeah, right. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so you just had, what was it, in August? You had Worlds, correct?
Yes, in Hungary, Budapest, Hungary.
Yes. Okay, so tell us all what races did you all compete while you were down there?
So I did 3 rounds of the 400-meter hurdles because you have the round 1, then you have to qualify for the semifinal, you get the semifinal, you have to qualify for the final. So we had those 3, ended up getting 6th in that, and then I led off the 4x4, the
Yes.
4x4 prelim. So that was a really cool experience. Team Hungary was in our heat. So when they announced that Team Hungary, because they'll go through the introductions, we were in lane 9, so we got introduced first, and it got pretty loud. But then it got to like lane 4, and they were like the team from Hungary, and it was deafening because it was just like 45,000 people just screaming for their host country. So that was really cool.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. That is so cool. So have you have any insight on what's coming up for this next year now that you are looking forward to 2024?
You mean like competitions wise?
Yeah, competition wise, like how does that go about? Do you have to schedule a lot of those smaller things before?
Well, as of right now, I don't know because we're really early in the season. What happens is like I'll make like a little list of meets I want to go to, and I'll send them to my coach and my agent, and then my agent comes up with a list that he wants me to go to, and then he gets on a phone call or a Zoom call with my coach, and my coach essentially looks at the list and goes, yes, yes, no, 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 definitely not, yes, yes, and then kind of going through because like I said, it's a long season. I'll start running races potentially in like February.
Yeah.
The Olympics is I think like late July, and then there's meets after the Olympics too that I could potentially end up running in because this past season my last race was in the middle of September. So you don't want to run a ton of races because you're not going to last. Your body's going to fall apart. You're going to get burned out. And that's where I have full faith in my coach because he's been in the sport for a while. He's been doing it for a while. Like, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. If you don't want me running that meet, I'm out. Not doing it.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. That's awesome. Good. Gosh, anything else you have? Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we've gotten all of our questions of just getting that insight of kind of how you structure things and go about your training, and that's so good. One last, I guess, overarching question is just like, what is your motivation for running? What gives you that drive and still the passion to still fight and keep working and training so hard and putting so much energy and effort into everything that you do? What's your why?
That's a great question, and there's a lot of different answers to it. I feel like God blessed me with these gifts for a reason, and I feel like if I don't do everything I can to make the most of them, it's almost disrespectful to God for giving me these gifts and for me to just waste them. So that's part of it. Another part of it is I know I'm always running for something bigger than myself. I'm running for my family, for my last name. I know there's a lot of people that look up to me and are inspired by me. So I owe it to them to go out. I owe it to them to work hard in these weight room sessions, do all the small things people don't think about, and then to go out and compete and give everything I have on the track. So really, those are the main things. And then, I mean, the third and easiest one is I'm really competitive and I don't like losing. So you have those two really big reasons, and then this one like little smaller reason.
Definitely, definitely. Such good reasons. I completely agree with all of them, and I find it so motivating and inspiring myself just to hear it. So happy for you and everything that you've accomplished, and are going to continue to accomplish. So keep working hard, and thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad I can help. Glad I can help you guys graduate. That's going to be awesome. Excited for you guys.
Definitely, definitely. Awesome. Well, with that, I think that's all we got. So I will at least stop the recording, but